So I start out by measuring the length of the bulletin board. You can use any type of string. I use fishing line, so you may not be able to see. But the fishing line is really cheap. I keep it in my classroom toolkit. So I tape one side to one corner, I unwind it to the length that I need, and then I snip it once I get to the other side. The problem with fishing line is that it's kind of hard to reuse, so this is kind of a one-time fix, and I normally throw it away when I'm done. Next, I've cut the paper. Because this bulletin board's black, I went ahead and got two pieces, even though I only need a small strip for the top, but the orange paper you could see through pretty easily. So I start at one side and basically line it up. If the paper came off of the paper cutter a little bit crooked, that's okay because my border is going to cover it up. So I line it up pretty close to the edge, and thumbtacks are really the way to go if you are doing a bulletin board by yourself. They are really useful in a lot of different ways, and you'll see me continuing to go back to my thumbtack stash on my rolling cart. I also really recommend that you have something that rolls or that you can move easily, because I can move my rolling cart along with me and bring my thumbtack stash as I go. So you can see I pin up the bulletin board paper. It's not exactly the easiest thing to do by yourself, but it is possible. It also gets the paper a little bit wrinkly, but it's not a huge deal. So you just go through and pin it up. You can see I'm pulling my cart along with me so that I'm not having to continue to go back and get more tacks. Even though I measured, I do like to give myself just a little bit of extra paper, because sometimes when I go to get my paper, I end up cutting it too short, and I'd rather cut it too long than too short and have a nice seamless piece going all the way across. So I can trim off the little bit of extra that I ended up getting. I go through and I staple. When you staple, you want to start at the center and then move to the outside. Here I'm trimming off my excess. I just run my finger along the side where it meets the bulletin board to get a crease and kind of a guide so I know where to cut. And then I just run my scissors up and cut off the excess. I keep it just in case I make any mistakes that I need to cover up. This bulletin board, I didn't end up needing the extra scraps, so I could recycle it. Now I'm doing the same thing with the other piece of paper along the top. Some bulletin boards tend to be wider than others. I generally need two pieces to cover the entire bulletin board. If you're extremely thrifty or you want to conserve paper, you could definitely trim this and just use the section that you needed so you wouldn't waste any of the extra paper. Again, I'm just using thumbtacks to pin up the extras. I went ahead and stapled that piece. Now I'm going to start working on the bulletin board border. This particular border that I'm using is one long piece that you can trim, and that makes it nice because you're not having to put pieces together. I don't like it because it kind of has a ripple effect on it, and so when you're stapling it, it kind of squishes that a little bit. But for what I needed it for, it did exactly what I needed. I am using thumbtacks again to secure what I need, and then I'll trim off the edges. This is actually two borders together. You'll see in a second I'll separate them. So that what I'm pre-measuring is actually one for the top and one for the bottom, and I'll take the one that's on the top part and move that to the top in a second. I'm also using the Cricut in the background to cut out letters and embellishments, just using my time wisely so that it's finished by the time I'm ready to start adding things. So you can see I've trimmed my border so that it's the right length, and I have push pins holding it together. Now I'm going to take the top piece off and separate those. Next, I'm going to take some more push pins and put the bulletin board border that I just removed from the one below and attach that up top as well. You can see I had a slight problem with my border getting tangled. There we go. And again, just using push pins. And when you are securing this, you want to make sure that you, again, start from the center so that if you have any excess, you can kind of push it to the outside and then trim again if you need to. I like to put everything up with push pins first, and that way if I need to make adjustments, I can. Now I'm taking my stapler and just running it through. Now I'm going to do the same things on the side. Alright, you can see I've started to arrange my information and also my cutouts as well. Again, I'm using push pins to arrange everything first, just so that I can kind of see how much space I have left on the board, and then I'll go back through with the stapler and staple things down. I really like using the push pins because it helps to see if you've got any large patches of space left, and you can easily move things around without making any major mistakes, and also without ripping paper and that type of thing too. It definitely helps. So I'm just putting the finishing touches on here. Thanks for watching and happy crafting!